Good evening and welcome everyone to another interesting episode of CC Friday. I am Rupsi. I am here to introduce the presentation brought to you by the language educators at BPS Lava. Language is a beautiful skill that allows us to communicate with each other. We can share and understand our and others' feelings, opinions, and ideas. A study indicates that babies begin learning a language in the womb of the mother. Scientists have found that babies can discriminate between vowel sounds even before they are born. Learning a language is a skill that involves listening, speaking, reading, and writing. As language educators, we work on each of these to ensure that our students are able to express themselves. Today, we showcase some of our effective practices, activities that engage, enrich, and educate our students and help them hone their linguistic skills. I invite Aboli Madam for a fun-filled activity.
Thank you, Rupsi ma'am. So teachers, are we ready for the activity? Let's line up these words in alphabetical order in the order you will find them in the dictionary. Put them in one go and not one at a time in the chat box. For this activity, you will be getting 30 seconds of time. The time starts now. So teachers, we will be waiting for your response. You have 30 seconds. Time 7. It's 5 seconds more. Stop, everybody. Thank you. Okay, Sucheta ma'am got it. All right, Reshmi ma'am as well, Sangeeta ma'am as well, Dipti ma'am, Humaira ma'am. Okay, some of you have got the correct answer, and some of you have about to get. Thank you so much for this. Thank you everyone for your enthusiastic participation. Now I call Peenaz ma'am to proceed.
A very good evening to everyone. Childhood memories are the sweetest etchings on the canvas of our hearts. Children of class 12 crafted metaphorical illustrations of their childhood, painting vibrant images of laughter, challenges, and dreams. Each artwork resembled a unique mosaic, blending emotions, experiences, and cherished memories. The canvas of the metaphors depicted playgrounds and classrooms where friendships blossomed like blooming flowers. The English syllabus of class 12 has few topics where childhood is the central theme. To name a few, the last spring talks about stolen childhood. The last lesson reflects on the impact of war on childhood and the loss of cultural identity. The poem My Mother at 66 revolves around separation anxiety and childhood fear of losing one's mother. Our departmental goals of fostering creative expression and critical thinking are being met as the students engaged in an activity where they explored their childhood. This activity helped them engage in their linguistic proficiency, deepen their understanding of literary devices, and encourage them to reflect on their past experiences in a unique and imaginative way. By incorporating metaphorical illustrations, students also develop their ability to communicate abstract ideas effectively, fostering a deeper sense of appreciation for language and its nuances. Through this activity, the children of class 12 exhibited habits of mind such as creativity, critical thinking, and introspection. They learned to express complex emotions, analyze symbolic meanings, and develop a deeper sense of self awareness. Thank you. Over to you, Sri Vidya ma'am.
Thank you so much, Pinal ma'am. Before deciding an activity, we always map it with the learning outcome of the chapter Departmental Goals and Habits of Mind. This activity was taken as a recapitulation of the chapter Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom of grade 10. Last year, for the same chapter, I had taken bio sketch. But as everybody doesn't have a flair of writing, the entire learning outcome was not met. So this year, I tweaked a bit. So hot seat was taken as an activity. Hot seat is an activity where every student was expected to do the thorough research about the personality, go beyond the text, and come with pertinent question to ask the person in hot seat. Students are guided to come up with thought-provoking questions. The student playing Nelson Mandela is expected to answer with conviction. Some questions asked were, how did you feel as a child when you faced discrimination? Do you think that as a father you have fulfilled your responsibilities? With this activity, we could integrate perseverance and thinking and communicating with clarity and precision as the habits of mind. So please hear the video.
Actually, I had means I honestly speaking I had multiple divorces with my wives, but with my current wife I am happy. And in my childhood with my parents and my brothers and sisters, I was happy. And means I was also facing the same discrimination with them, and I have the strongest bond with my daughter so far, because she understands me, and she helps me get through all the hard times. That's why it means the relationships with my family members.
Whites were discriminating blacks, but when your party came in ruling, why you don't discriminate black whites?
The main reason why I stood up for election was because there was discrimination.
Uh, Continue with them, ma'am.
Over to you, Sabrina ma'am.
Thank you, Srividya ma'am. A very good evening to everyone. Abuli ma'am, next slide. Thank you so much. Being hardworking, responsible, and dedicated towards our work and duty are some of the most important values that we strive to inculcate in our students. A chapter in grade 8, How the Camel Got His Hump, helped the students to learn these values well. The story speaks about the camel's negligent attitude towards his work and the repercussions he faces. In order to help the students decipher their understandings from the chapter, the students were divided in groups of 4. Each group was assigned a different activity. The first group was asked to prepare some short answer questions, while the second group was asked to prepare the MCQs. I plan to use it as reflections and closure at the end of the class. It was an impromptu idea that flashed across my mind for reflection. The third group was allotted the task to sketch the major events of the chapter, which led to an integration with arts. Aboli ma'am, the previous slide, please. The fourth group was asked to enumerate the characteristics of the camel using a concept map or in any other creative way. The last group was asked to prepare a list of the duties discharged by the other characters in the chapter. On completion of the tasks, the students were given the opportunity the next day to present their work. The audience students were encouraged to raise queries and doubts, if any. This helped students to cover every aspect of the chapter. The relevance of the chapter was clearly evident in the students at the time of the presentation of this multivity. Aboli ma'am, next slide, please. As a culmination, the students were asked to write their learnings from the chapter on sticky notes and paste them on the subject display board. They were urged to write their experience while working in a team and the struggles they faced. This helped me understand the students' learning and know the difficulties they faced while working in the team so that I am mindful of them while organizing some other team activity in future. It was wonderful to note that students with mixed abilities worked so well together. Thank you so much. I request Priscilla ma'am to take over.
Thank you, Sabrina ma'am, and a very warm evening to everyone. Benjamin Franklin had rightly said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." We firmly believe it and implement the same in our primary classrooms. Every class is filled with different active learning strategies. These strategies enhance engagement and help develop skills like deeper understanding, critical thinking, collaboration, and communication. I use Chit Connect activity in grade 4 as an assessment tool for the topic affixes. Small chits with a stem word and affixes, that is prefixes and suffixes, written on them were distributed. Students were asked to find the appropriate pair and complete the word. They were very excited and successfully found their partners to form words with appropriate affixes, thereby demonstrating that the concept was clear. The pair then formed meaningful sentences using the word formed by them together. The learning objectives, like identifying the affixes and using them in daily communication, was achieved, thereby exhibiting comprehension and correct usage of the word. This activity was conducted as a vocabulary enrichment exercise integrated with grammar concept. With this, we wrap up the English department. Now, I request Aboli ma'am from French department to carry forward.
Thank you, Priscilla ma'am. Bonsoir à tous. When we talk about France, we also talk about its Independence Day, 14 July, le jour de la Bastille. Students of grade 10 and 9 have done a wonderful podcast on the Bastille Day. They spoke about the storming of Bastille and their experience while learning French as a foreign language from grade 5 in school. Les médias. The lesson for grade 10 on media was introduced to the children. Various sources of media of France like TV Monde 5, Le Monde, Le Echo, Le Figaro were discussed. Students prepared the newspaper covering different columns and pages dedicated to the world news, sports news, national and international news, recreation and entertainment, advertisements, etc. They did this activity in the group of 3. Students did a lot of research focusing and covering the details of all covered areas. Through this activity, students were able to understand the skills like paragraph writing, sentence framing, and different sets of vocabulary. Here is the experience of the student and glimpses of their work.
Faire l'activité du journal a été très productive. Cela m'a aidé à apprendre beaucoup de nouveaux vocabulaires et à développer mon intérêt pour apprendre le français. Doing the newspaper activity was very productive. It helped me to learn lots of new vocabulary and also develop my interest in French.
Here are some glimpses of their work. Now, over to you, Pritha ma'am. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Aboli ma'am. Bonjour à tous, vive la France. With this quote, I would like to introduce one of the activity that I have incorporated recently in one of my class. So the name suggests here, peindre et grandir. That means paint and grow. This activity was conducted in grade 6. The chapter on France and its culture was taken up that gives a comprehensive briefing about France and its culture. The class was divided into groups of 4, and each group was given a particular topic about France that they needed to prepare their presentations. The mediums chosen were chart papers, colors, and other art and craft materials. Some came up with some brilliant ideas for their posters, whereas some was still struggling even with just one design. The educator played the facilitator's role here. The main motive behind this activity was to integrate learning French with art. This aimed not only to bring out their potential in the French language, but it also helped the students to discover and enhance their art skills. The students were seen to have developed some brilliant communication skills, collaboration, a practical and integrating approach to put forward their ideas and factual knowledge. At the end of the session, the inference could be drawn that the students were thrilled to explore something novel. They developed team spirit and understood the importance of learning French as a language. Now I would request Srividya ma'am to continue further with the presentation.
Thank you, Pritha ma'am. English is weird, but it can be understood though, with tough, thorough thought, because every rule has exceptions. English is a language where the same word can have different meanings, like bear, rose, spring, and so on. Similar sounding words can have very different meanings, like KNEAD, NEET, HOARSE, HORSE, HAIR, HARE. Languages that have their roots in Sanskrit are not so full of vagaries. The second part of our presentation for focuses on Sanskrit, one of the oldest languages in the world. Marathi, the state language, and Hindi are Rajbhasha. I call upon Vaishnavi ma'am for the further proceedings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vidya ma'am. Surasa Subodha Vishwamanodnya Lalita Rudya Ramaniya Amrutavani Sanskrita Bhasha Naivam Klistha Nacha Kathina Naivam Klistha Nacha Kathina नमो नमः। शुभ संध्या सर्वेशाम। जैसा कि हम सभी जानते हैं, संस्कृत भाषा सर्व भाषाओं की जननी है और हमारी भारतीय संस्कृति के मूलाधार 4 वेद, उपनिषद, रामायण, महाभारत जैसे महान ग्रंथ संस्कृत भाषा में लिखे गए हैं। तो संस्कृत अध्यापक होने के नाते हमारा ये कि हम अपने छात्रों को हमारी प्राप्त उपयुक्त संस्कृत भाषा का महत्व, उपयोग बताए तथा छात्रों में संस्कृत भाषा सीखने के प्रति बढ़ाए। कक्षा 5वीं में श्लोक गायन गतिविधि नामक एक एक्टिविटी ली गई थी। इस एक्टिविटी के दौरान छात्रों को संस्कृत श्लोक गायन का महत्व एवं उपयोगिता के बारे में अवगत कराया गया। इस गतिविधि में छात्रों ने विशेष रुचि दिखाई तथा संस्कृत श्लोक गायन के महत्व को सखोलता से जानने में रुचि दिखाई। इस गतिविधि में छात्रों ने अनुभव किया कि श्लोक गायन उनके मन को सक्रिय करता है, एकाग्रता शक्ति को बढ़ाता है तथा याददाश्त को तेज करता है। जब छात्रों को यह पता चला कि संस्कृत श्लोक गायन चिकित्सा में मददगार है, तनाव प्रबंधन में सहायक है, मस्तिष्क को मजबूत बनाता है, मन और तन दोनों से जुड़े रोगों को सही करता है तथा तनाव, क्रोध, आक्रामकता और ऐसी अन्य भावनाओं को दूर करता है एवं मस्तिष्क को शांत करके विचारों को शांत और शुद्ध करता है, तब हैबिट्स ऑफ माइंड के अंतर्गत छात्रों ने संस्कृत श्लोक गायन के फायदे सुनकर आश्चर्यचकित होकर अपनी प्रतिक्रियाएं दी तथा संस्कृत भाषा को लगातार सीखने की उत्सुकता जताई। इस एक्टिविटी के माध्यम से छात्रों ने एक्टिव मैनेजमेंट स्किल डेवलप करने का प्रयास किया। धन्यवाद। अब मैं शीतल महोदया को आमंत्रित करती हूँ।
नमस्कार आणि सर्वांना शुभ संध्या। विद्यार्थ्यांना मराठी भाषा साध्या सोप्या शब्दात समजावी व त्यांच्या वाचन, लेखन, श्रवण आणि भाषण कौशल्याचा विकास व्हावा यासाठी मराठी विभाग प्रयत्नशील असतो. योग असे जेथे, आरोग्य वसे तेथे या उक्तीला साजेसे इयत्ता 9वीच्या विद्यार्थ्यांना राष्ट्रसंत श्री तुकडोजी महाराजांनी लिहिलेली व्यायामाचे महत्त्व ही कविता आहे, जी चिरतरुण आहे. चिरतरुण म्हणण्याचं कारण की व्यायाम कधी कालबाह्य होऊ शकत नाही. सध्याची जीवनशैली पाहता व्यायाम हा प्रत्येकासाठी आवश्यक झालेला आहे. ही कविता विद्यार्थ्यांना फक्त समजावलीच नाही, तर व्यायामाचे महत्त्व सांगणारे एक लघुनाट्य विद्यार्थ्यांनी करून दाखवले. आपल्या प्रकृतीसाठी कोणता आहार पोषक आहे यावर त्यांनी विचार मंथन केले. त्यातून त्यांच्या कल्पनाशक्तीचा विकास झाल्याचे दिसून आले. लघुनाट्य सादरीकरणातून लेखन कौशल्य, संभाषण कौशल्य, शब्दफेक, शब्दसंपत्तीत वाढ झाल्याचे दिसून आले. विद्यार्थी आपल्या सत्सद विवेक बुद्धीचा वापर करण्यास प्रेरित झाले. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड मॅम. व्यायामाचे महत्त्व या कवितेचे पीई म्हणजेच शारीरिक शिक्षण या विषयासोबत इंटिग्रेट केले. नूतन मॅडम यांनी विद्यार्थ्यांना रोज करता येईल असे काही सूक्ष्म व्यायाम सांगितले. त्याचे महत्त्व व फायदेही सांगून मुलांकडून ते करून घेतले. प्रात्यक्षिक केल्याने विद्यार्थ्यांमध्ये आणखी रुची निर्माण झाली व रोज घरी हे सूक्ष्म व्यायाम करण्याचा त्यांनी निश्चय केला. आहारात सुद्धा काय खावे आणि काय खाऊ नये याची यादी बनवण्यात ते सक्षम झालेले दिसून आले. यावरून त्यांची निर्णय क्षमता, सामान्य ज्ञान आणि योगाचे महत्त्व याबद्दलचा विकास झाल्याचे दिसून आले. आता पुढील शृंखला सुरू ठेवण्यासाठी मी मनीषा ठाकरे मॅडमला आमंत्रित करते.
धन्यवाद शीतल मॅम. नमस्कार आणि शुभ संध्या सर्वांना. माझ्या ऍक्टिव्हिटीचे नाव आहे नेचर वॉक. मी वर्ग 4च्या विद्यार्थ्यांना झाड ही कविता शिकविताना त्यांना सर्वप्रथम निसर्गाच्या सानिध्यात प्रात्यक्षिक अनुभव यावा म्हणून शाळेच्या आवारात घेऊन गेले. त्यांना विविध झाडांची ओळख करून दिली. तसेच मराठीत झाडांना काय म्हणतात त्यांची नावे सांगितली. या क्रियाकलापामुळे झाडाचे महत्त्व विद्यार्थ्यांना कळले. तसेच झाडे लावल्यामुळे होणारे फायदे व न लावल्यामुळे होणारे तोटे विद्यार्थ्यांना कळले. या ऍक्टिव्हिटी नंतर वर्गात विद्यार्थ्यांद्वारे प्राप्त होणारे रिफ्लेक्शन हे अप्रतिम होते. यातून विद्यार्थ्यांना झाडाप्रमाणे परोपकारी वृत्ती बाळगावी ही शिकवण मिळाली. यातून मुलांच्या बौद्धिक क्षमतेचा विकास झाला, त्यांच्या शब्द संपत्तीत वाढ झाली व त्यांचे अभिव्यक्ति कौशल्य वाढले. धन्यवाद. आगे जोड़ने के लिए मैं अभी शीतल मैम को आमंत्रित करती हूँ.
भाषा चाहे जो भी हो, हमारे व्यक्त होने का माध्यम है. बोलने के लिए हम वाक्य का उपयोग करते हैं और वाक्य शब्दों से बनते हैं. शब्दों की मात्रा इधर की उधर हो जाए तो अर्थ का अनर्थ हो जाता है. जैसे चिंता शब्द से अनुस्वार हट जाए तो चिता बन जाता है. दिन यानी दिवस और दिन जिसमें बड़ी ई की मात्रा हो उस दिन का अर्थ गरीब होता है. यही भाषा की महिमा है. अभी हम शब्दों पर आधारित एक एक्टिविटी करेंगे जिसका नाम है एक से अनेक. आपको स्लाइड पर एक शब्द दिखाई देगा. उस शब्द से आपको अनेक शब्द बनाने हैं. जैसे इसी शब्द से एक शब्द बताती हूँ, वोल्केनो यानी ज्वालामुखी. आपको 30 सेकेंड का टाइम दिया जाएगा. सो टाइम स्टार्ट्स नाउ. और आप इसको चैट बॉक्स में लिख सकते हैं. अल्ट्रा माइक्रोस्कोप, डायग्नोसिस, वोल्केनो, मोनो, बाप रे बहुत सारे शब्द है. यस कॉइन, एक नया शब्द और. यस 30 सेकेंड में हमें बहुत सारे शब्द मिले. सिलिकॉन, ओएसिस. यस, काफी सुंदर प्रयास और आप सभी ने बड़े उत्साह से इस एक्टिविटी में सहभाग लिया. आपकी प्रतिक्रिया के लिए धन्यवाद. अगली कड़ी जोड़ने के लिए मैं नीलम महोदया को आमंत्रित करती हूँ.
धन्यवाद शीतल मैम। सीसी फ्राइडे के मंच पर उपस्थित सभी महानुभावों को शुभ संध्या। नुक्कड़ नाटक एक ऐसी नाट्य विधा है जो परंपरागत रंगमंचीय नाटकों से भिन्न है। यह रंगमंच पर नहीं खेला जाता तथा आमतौर पर इसकी रचना किसी एक लेखक द्वारा नहीं की जाती, बल्कि सामाजिक परिस्थितियों और संदर्भों से उपजे विषयों को इनके द्वारा उठा लिया जाता है। कक्षा 8वीं के छात्रों को पाठ्य पुस्तक वसंत भाग 3 से पाठ बस की यात्रा की शिक्षा व संदेश को आत्मसात कराने हेतु इस गतिविधि का आयोजन किया गया, जिसमें छात्रों ने बिना शिक्षक की सहायता लिए गतिविधि की रूपरेखा, संवाद, प्रस्तुति स्वयं तैयार की और जीवनोपयोगी प्रत्येक वस्तु के नवीनीकरण की आवश्यकता पर बात की, अपितु सड़क दुर्घटनाओं के रोकथाम के उपाय एवं यातायात के नियमों का पालन करने की भी सीख दी, जो वास्तव में प्रशंसनीय था। व्यंग्य विधा पर आधारित इस पाठ को अधिक रोचकता के साथ लर्निंग आउटकम की सार्थकता व संदेश को छात्रों के अनुभव और ज्ञान में परिवर्तित करना ही इस गतिविधि का मुख्य उद्देश्य था। बेहतरीन गतिविधियों के प्रयोग से ही छात्रों को गुणवत्तापूर्ण शिक्षण प्रदान किया जा सकता है। इन गतिविधियों को करवाने के पश्चात छात्रों सहित हम शिक्षकों को भी चिंतन करने का सुनिश्चित अवसर मिल जाता है। इस शिक्षण में गतिविधियों के माध्यम से वास्तविक परिवर्तन लाया जा सकता है और छात्रों का सर्वांगीण विकास किया जा सकता है। आइए देखें इसकी एक झलक। अगली स्लाइड अबोलिमा।
सुप्रभात। मैंने जब पाठ बस की यात्रा पढ़ा, मैंने यह सीखा कि हमें हमारे वाहनों की मरम्मत करवाना बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि अगर हम मरम्मत नहीं करवाएं तो सारी घटनाएं वहीं से शुरू होती हैं। यातायात नियमों का पालन करना सबसे ज़रूरी है ताकि हम सबकी सुरक्षा बनाए रखें। जब हमने नुक्कड़ नाटक किया इस पाठ के लिए, समूह में काम करके हमें यह पता चला कि सबके विचारों को सुनने से, उनके समाधान सुनने से हम एक समस्या का हल निकाल सकते हैं। हमें बहुत मज़ा आया करके काम एक साथ, और हमें एक दूसरे के कौशल्य पता चले और हमें एक बहुत ही सुंदर सा और क्रिएटिव आइडिया क्रिएट किया। थैंक यू।
अब गतिविधि आधारित शिक्षण की अगली ज्ञानवर्धक कड़ी को जोड़ने के लिए मैं मनीषा मैडम को सादर आमंत्रित करती हूँ। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद नीलम्मा। आभासी मंच पर उपस्थित सभी विद्वज्जनों को शुभ संध्या। भाषा में रचनात्मक लेखन का काफी महत्व होता है। आधुनिक युग विज्ञापन का युग कहलाता है। विज्ञापन लेखन एक ऐसा सशक्त एवं प्रभावशाली कला का नाम है। आजकल हम देखते हैं कि पत्र पत्रिका, रेडियो, टेलीविजन, सिनेमा आदि विज्ञापनों की भरमार से घिरे दिखाई देते हैं। विज्ञापन लेखन को अधिक रोचक एवं मजेदार बनाने के उद्देश्य से कक्षा 8वीं के विद्यार्थियों के लिए एक विज्ञापन लेखन के साथ साथ विज्ञापन प्रस्तुति की गतिविधि का आयोजन किया गया, जिसमें सभी बच्चों ने बड़ी सक्रिय सहभागिता का परिचय देते हुए आकर्षक विज्ञापन प्रस्तुत किए, जैसे मधुबनी चित्रकला, माँ के हाथ के अचार, बाम्बू आर्ट आदि। कक्षा 8वीं के पाठ लाख की चूड़ियां, इसको आधार बनाकर यह गतिविधि ली गई ताकि बच्चे हाथ से बनाई जा रही वस्तुओं तथा कारीगरों के व्यवसाय पर पड़ रहे मशीनीकरण के प्रभाव से अवगत हो सके तथा भविष्य में हाथ कारीगरों के व्यवसाय को घर घर पहुंचाने के बारे में विचार कर एक जागृत नागरिक का फर्ज अदा कर सके। इस गतिविधि के दौरान बच्चों ने ऐसे कई उपाय भी बताए जिनकी सहायता से गृह उद्योगों को बढ़ावा दिया जा सकता है। आगे की श्रृंखला को जोड़ने के लिए मैं निशा मैम को आमंत्रित करती हूँ। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद मनीषा मैम। सभी शिक्षक गणों को मेरा सादर नमन। मूक अभिनय एक शक्तिशाली कला रूप है जो बिना किसी
शब्द का उपयोग किए हुए आपके दिल को छू सकता है। भाषा का महत्व तथा व्याकरण के प्रति रुचि जागृत करने के उद्देश्य से कक्षा तीसरी के बच्चों के द्वारा मूक अभिनय का प्रदर्शन किया गया। जब भाषा का विकास नहीं हुआ था, तब लोग कैसे अपने विचारों की अभिव्यक्ति करते थे, यह समझाना एवं भाषा के महत्व को बताना इस गतिविधि का मुख्य उद्देश्य था। बच्चों को यह भी बताया गया कि वर्तमान परिवेश में अंतरिक्ष यात्री तथा गोताखोर इस मूक कला का उपयोग करते हैं। इस गतिविधि के माध्यम से बच्चों के पूर्व ज्ञान को नई परिस्थितियों से जोड़ा गया, जिससे बच्चों की कल्पना शक्ति एवं सृजनात्मकता में बढ़ोतरी हुई एवं बच्चों में सहयोग भावना, अभिव्यक्ति, समस्या समाधान, निर्णय लेने की क्षमता आदि कौशलों का विकास किया गया। रिफ्लेक्शन के रूप में बच्चों का कहना था कि मैम, हमें तो पता ही नहीं था कि भाषा के बिना अपनी बात दूसरों को समझाना कितना कठिन है। इस गतिविधि के माध्यम से हमें पता चला कि भाषा का हमारे जीवन में कितना महत्व है। धन्यवाद। अब मैं आमंत्रित करती हूँ दीप्ति मैम को।
धन्यवाद निशा मैम। आभासी मंच पर उपस्थित सभी सम्मान्य जनों को शुभ संध्या। साक्षात्कार एक ऐसी व्यवस्थित पद्धति है जिसमें दो या दो से अधिक व्यक्ति किसी विशिष्ट उद्देश्य से आमने सामने संवाद, बातचीत और प्रतिक्रिया करते हैं। बचपन पाठ के वाचन के दौरान कक्षा छठी के छात्रों के लिए इस गतिविधि का आयोजन किया गया, जिसका मुख्य उद्देश्य पुरानी पीढ़ी को नई पीढ़ी के साथ जोड़ना, उनके अनुभव को आत्मसात करना, छात्रों में जिज्ञासु वृत्ति जागृत करना, बुजुर्गों के विचारों और अनुभव का आदान प्रदान करना, मौखिक अभिव्यक्ति का विकास करना और प्रश्न कौशल का विकास करना। इस गतिविधि के दौरान हमने अब तक ये देखा कि सभी शिक्षकों ने छात्रों का रिफ्लेक्शन प्रस्तुत किया, किंतु मैं इस गतिविधि के दौरान मेरा जो रिफ्लेक्शन था वह साझा करना चाहूँगी। हम कक्षा में जब पढ़ाते हैं तब हमारे पास समय बहुत सीमित होता है। हमारा लेसन प्लान जो होता है केवल 35 से 40 मिनट का होता है, तो इस सीमित समय में हम बहुत सी बातें, अनुभव साझा नहीं कर पाते। किंतु इस गतिविधि के दौरान छात्रों को अपने बुजुर्गों के किस्से और अनुभव सुनने और समझने को मिले। इससे छात्रों को मुझे यह समझाने में भी मदद मिली कि बड़े बुजुर्गों का घर में होना किसी जादुई चिराग से कम नहीं है। भाषा की इन गतिविधियों को जब हमने प्लान किया तो हमने इसमें क्वेश्चनिंग एंड पॉजिंग प्रॉब्लम्स, अप्लाइंग पास्ट नॉलेज टू न्यू सिचुएशन, थिंकिंग एंड कम्युनिकेटिंग विथ क्लैरिटी एंड प्रिसिशन, गैदरिंग डाटा थ्रू ऑल सेंसेस, थिंक फ्लेक्सिबली जैसे हैबिट्स ऑफ माइंड को कनेक्ट होते देखा। आइए इस गतिविधि की एक झलक इस वीडियो द्वारा देखते हैं।
नमस्ते दादा दादी जी। नमस्ते दादा दादी जी। प्रश्न का आधार है कि टेलीविजन ने आज बच्चों पर क्या प्रभाव डाला है।
बेटा आप लोग है ना, उसको फुल टाइम भी देते हैं टीवी पे। दैट इज नॉट गुड। घर पे भी ध्यान दिया करो, मगर फादर की तरफ भी ध्यान दिया करो। जब दादा दादी को बुलाए हो तो स्पेशल उन पे ध्यान दिया करो। हाँ,
धन्यवाद अबोली मैम। इस दौरान मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हमारे विभाग का जो लक्ष्य था छात्रों में अच्छे संस्कार डालना, वो भी यहाँ हमें दिखाई पड़ता है। तो आइए ढलती शाम के साथ साथ अब हम इस सभा की समापन की ओर बढ़ रहे हैं। अब मैं प्रीथा मैम से अनुरोध करना चाहूँगी कि वे आगे अपने विचार प्रस्तुत करें।
Thank you, Deepti ma'am. The presentation gave you a glimpse of all the interactive sessions and activities that we conduct in our classrooms to deliver quality content with a practical blend and a real-life connect. Each activity displays a different thought process, although the goal in each case is similar: creating an engaging and enriching environment and providing opportunities to think critically, work collaboratively, generate and share ideas, and express thoughts and feelings lucidly, fluently, and creatively. While planning and implementing these in class, we never lose sight of our departmental goals and the vision statement of our school. The 5 C's, that is, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication, and compassion, form the bedrock of all that we do in class. The 3 R's, relationship, relevance, and rigor, are the building blocks of the edifice we aspire to create. And the 4 habits of the mind that we have chosen for ourselves this session, that is metacognition, persisting, listening with understanding, and empathy, finding humor and managing impulsivity, color every thought, every idea, and every action at school. Learning is more effective when it is an active rather than a passive process. Languages put our words in focus, give structure to our thoughts, and help us to communicate with the people around us. They are fluid concepts built from our heritage, our people, and our interactions with the world, growing and changing to keep up with the modern day whilst reminding us of the past. This presentation today showcased just some of the many amazing ways we can appreciate the depth, variety, and power of understanding language and taking it to our students. We hope you enjoyed it. We thank each one of you for our gracious presence and patience. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pritha ma'am. Thank you, Deepti ma'am, Neelam ma'am, Shri Vidya ma'am. A very well organized presentation, and the entire team of teachers who presented from Nagpur today. I think this was a really well put together presentation. Pushpi ma'am, Anupama ma'am, Mukesh sir, are you there? Would you like to add anything? Would you like to ask any questions to the entire team? If you have any questions, please put on the chat box.
Sir, shall I stop presenting?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
So, Anupama ma'am, Pushpi ma'am, Mukesh sir, maybe if you can share one highlight for you from today's presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Pushpi ma'am, you
हाँ
would
जी
like to go first?
नहीं पहले होस्ट बोल ले
Okay. So, congratulations, team. Wonderful presentation. Sir, we actually had to, stop the teachers because they've made a huge presentation with so many activities. We had to, tell them to cut down and make it crisper so that we finish in 45 minutes. There were more that they wanted to showcase. So, and I'm seeing all this happening, and I'm really glad that we are looking at the 3 R's: relevance, rigor, um reflection, and relationship, all the 4 R's, and definitely doing activities which are, enhancing the skills of our team in terms of the 5 C's, that is communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, and so on. So that is what I would like to share with everybody. Pushpa ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Anupama. Well, the presentations by all the teachers were amazing and a lot of sharing for all the members in the group. But 3 things which hit my mind immediately was one was the sign language. मूक भाषा में जिस तरह से communication हुआ है. So not only
Millie ma'am, can you please mute? Millie ma'am, Millie Agrawal ma'am, please mute.
मूक भाषा के थ्रू मिली अपने आप को म्यूट करिए प्लीज.
Go ahead, ma'am.
not only does it मिली मुझे बोलना है.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm calling her.
So not only does it sensitize the children towards people with the disability, also the fact the a very GK element was included in that. Ki space में it's the sign language which is used, and there was another one place which I'm sorry, I'm not able to recall. Can somebody help me there, please?
Underwater, ma'am.
In the
Underwater,
submarines,
ma'am.
in the submarines,
Scuba
right?
divers.
Scuba divers and all. So the GK element was also communicated to the children. So that's really, something very remarkable. Blending of integrating subjects. So that was one thing. Sakshatkar with the grandparents was something very beautiful, because today with our single families, it's papa, mummy, and bacha. So when we incorporate and make our the elders of our family a significant role in our education, in the lives of our little ones. So as it is, there is a lot of value teaching, as well as involving the elders of the family in the education system of the children. So a lot of values pass on to the children through such activities. So Sakshatkar was very good for me. The others also have contributed, but why I picked these, because तीनों कैंपस में थोड़ा थोड़ा कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ सिमिलर होता रहता है, but these two things I felt stood out for me. So congratulations team Lava Nagpur, really happy with your presentation.
Thank you, Pushpi ma'am, for sharing. Mukesh sir, are you there? Okay. All right. So I want to ask a question, and anybody who wants to respond can respond. So anybody who presented today, maybe you can hold on a little bit, and everybody else can respond, because we've done a small meeting on this. So for everybody else, suppose you've got a list of 3 activities in front of you, okay, and you're teaching a chapter. You're teaching a chapter on factors, or you're teaching teaching a poem in English, or you're teaching a Nibandh Lekhan sort of a thing in Hindi or Marathi, right? You have a list of 3 activities. How do you choose which activity is better? And which out of the 3 activities, मुझे कौन सी activity अपने lesson plan में डालनी चाहिए? What is that filter which will help you कि कौन सी activity मुझे डालनी चाहिए? Anyone? मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
Sir, the answers are in the chat box.
Chat box, yes, sir. Please check the chat box.
Maybe. Okay, which can be completed in time, where content is the context, based on objectives, depending on student needs, learning outcomes. Okay, relevance to the topic. Okay, which has a real life connect and can involve maximum students, where each child is engaged as per the learning curve of class. Okay, learning outcome for students, student led. Okay, wonderful. So I want to share with you, sometime back in one of the CC Fridays presentation, I had sent out something called as the learning principles. Anybody remembers that? Learning principles. It is also available on the central website. Please take a look at the learning principles. Okay. So one thing we must have is the learning principles should be in our staff room. A printout of the learning principles should be in our staff room. Everything that we do, we should align with that. Okay, learning principles का मतलब है कि that is how people learn. लोग वैसे ही सीखते हैं. वो 10 ही तरीके हैं जिससे लोग सीखते हैं. So please have that in your staff room. Okay. I'm really excited that some of you wrote some amazing things in the chat box, that we will look at the learning outcomes, and जो activity learning outcomes से align कर रही है, हम उसको करना चाहेंगे. So great thought. Based on the objectives and the learning outcomes of the lesson. Wonderful thought, right? Some of you have, I think today's presentation, the presenters also spoke about the department goals. So which activity aligns with my department goals? I will go with that. Which activity is aligning with the habit of mind that I have in place? I will go with that. How is that activity helping me? So if there's one activity, can the same activity help me with the learning outcome? Can the same activity help me with the habit of mind? And can the same activity help me with the department goal? That is how we should view and filter the activity that we choose. The activity is actually a vehicle to achieve all the three things, which is the department goal, which is the habit of mind, and which is the learning outcome or the learning objective of learning outcome of the lesson or the learning objective of that session, right? So that activity is basically the vehicle to achieve that. Okay, but definitely do have the learning principles printed and put in your staff rooms. I would request the coordinators to please have the learning principles. वो आप अगर बार बार पढ़ेंगे तो you will start knowing that these are the 10 ways through which people learn. And इन्हीं चीजों को आपको अपने lessons में imbibe करना चाहिए, right? Something that I want you to also think about while we are making lesson plans, कि अगर हमने अपने lesson plan में learning outcome डाला है, तो how am I assessing that learning outcome? क्या वो जो activity हम कर रहे हैं, is that activity also helping me in a formative assessment? Great, wonderful. One single activity can do many things, right? So think of those sorts of activities कि वो activity आपको learning outcome का formative assessment भी करा दे. क्या आप जो हैबिट ऑफ माइंड, अगर आप बोल रहे हैं, लाइक मैंने आज के प्रेजेंटेशन में सुना कि हम बोल रहे हैं कि ये 5 हैबिट ऑफ माइंड एक एक्टिविटी में हो रही है, बहुत बढ़िया, बट आई वुड रादर से कि एक सेशन में आप एक ही हैबिट ऑफ माइंड पे फोकस करें, क्योंकि 5 हैबिट ऑफ माइंड सिर्फ वो बोलने के लिए है, बट हम उस पर फोकस नहीं कर पाएंगे कभी भी. सो इन वन लेसन और मे बी वन सेशन, एक जो 40 मिनट का पीरियड होता है, उसमें एक से ज्यादा हैबिट ऑफ माइंड पे फोकस करना, मतलब मैं ये नहीं बोलूंगा पूरी तरीके से अवॉइड करें, बट वो डिफिकल्ट है, तो ट्राई करें, एक पे ही स्टिक करें. अगर कभी लगे कि नहीं दो बहुत रेलेवेंट है तो जरूर करें, बट कोशिश करें एक पे स्टिक करने का. अगर आप परसिवियरेंस पे स्टिक कर रहे हैं या क्रिएटिव थिंकिंग पे स्टिक कर रहे हैं, तो हम कोशिश ये भी करें कि हम जाने कि हमारे कितने बच्चे क्रिएटिवली थिंक किए. वो कैसे होगा? एनीबडी कैन यू टेल मी हाउ कैन वी मेजर कि इस 45 मिनट्स में हमारे बच्चों ने क्रिएटिवली थिंक किया या नहीं किया? एनीवन, एनी थॉट्स? प्लीज रेज योर हैंड, प्लीज रेज योर हैंड. ओके, स्मिता मैम.
So creative thoughts के लिए, like I will take my subject. If I am teaching some editing tool, like photo editing tool, and I'm asking student to create a collage with that.
Okay.
And the collage is the creative thing, and where they are critically thinking and creating, their creativity is coming out. They are creating their thing with their own mind.
Okay, but how is it that you're measuring creativity? So वो create कर रहे हैं वो तो एक ठीक है, but so वो collage can be a very boring collage also, or that collage can be a very creative collage, something that's attractive and something unique. So how are you measuring? How can you measure that creativity? Okay, Shweta Pahuja says quick reflection. Okay, great. Reflection is a great way. How else can we measure a habit of mind like creativity? Yes, Abira ma'am.
Sir, we can measure creativity that whatever the child has done, if the child can elaborate it more, then that is a sign of creativity. Also, if the thing is very novel in its features, then it can be considered as creativity.
Brilliant. So if the child can elaborate, then you can say that the child is creatively thought of it. If the thing that the child has made is novel, मतलब नया है, unique है, तो उसने creatively सोचा है. So great. What is a tool that you can use in the class to measure this? Anybody? Yes, Harihar ji, बोलिए.
Sir, by some examples, and I'll allow them to come on board and we'll solve it by their own creativity, or some group discussion can also help us to know whether they have understood the concept and they can do the work by some more creativity.
Big round of applause for Mukul ma'am and Shweta ma'am. Rubrics, yes. Have a creativity rubrics. If you are having a habit of mind, तो कोशिश करें कि habit of mind का rubric डालें. तो बच्चों को समझ में आएगा कि perseverance क्या होता है, creativity क्या होता है. वो बहुत ही बड़े और tricky terms है. So have some rubrics that you display in the class or you talk about in the through the smart board. तो उससे बच्चों को समझ में आएगा what is expected of them to be doing in that 40-45 minute class. Great. Rubrics is a very, very good mechanism, and I think somebody also talked about reflection. Reflection is a very good way of measuring for the habit of mind. And I'm sure you can also come up with other various ways, right? So definitely let's look to जो हम department goal डाल रहे हैं, जो हम learning outcome डाल रहे हैं, जो हम habit of mind डाल रहे हैं, हमें कोशिश ये भी करना चाहिए कि वो उस 40-45 मिनट के क्लास में थ्रू सम सॉर्ट ऑफ फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट हम उसको असेस भी करें कि क्या एक्चुअल में क्रिएटिविटी हुई, क्या एक्चुअल में मेरा डिपार्टमेंट गोल क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग का था तो क्या वो हुआ, क्या एक्चुअल में मेरा लर्निंग आउटकम था कि बच्चे कॉन्फिडेंटली बोल पाए तो क्या वो बोल पाएंगे क्या आफ्टर दिस. सो डेफिनेटली लुक टू ट्राई एंड मेजर दैट. ओके. एंड ऑल्सो आप देखेंगे कि बहुत बार जो आपका डिपार्टमेंट गोल होगा और हैबिट ऑफ माइंड है वो आप मर्ज भी कर सकते हैं. इट कैन बी द सेम ऑल्सो, बिकॉज कभी कभी कहीं पे डिपार्टमेंट गोल क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग एंड यू कैन ऑल्सो हैव द हैबिट ऑफ माइंड ऑफ क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग देयर, राइट. सो वैसा भी आप कर सकते हैं और उसके बारे में भी सोच सकते हैं. Okay, anybody has any question for the Nagpur team for today's presentation? I really liked the जो आप लोगों ने, I think Pushpi ma'am really shared about the sign language. I absolutely loved that. But more than that, I would say inviting the grandparents. I think that was a fantastic idea. And जो I would really also say that हम अपने स्कूलों में जो हमारा पेरेंट बॉडी है, जो हमारा ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स है, इस बॉडी को हम बहुत रेयरली यूज कर रहे हैं. उसको और यूज करिए, हमें उसे बहुत ज्यादा एक्सप्लॉइट कर सकते हैं. दैट इज अ बिग रिसोर्स that we have. We have a lawyer in our parents. We have a doctor in our parents. We have a writer in our parents. So अगर आप कुछ कहानी सुना रहे हैं, how can you identify a parent who's a writer? How can that parent come in? You also have a cook in many parents. You have an entrepreneur in many parents. You have a very good speaker in many parents. So try and get all of these people to come and speak to your children. जो इंटरव्यू होता है अगर कोई पेरेंट का, या बच्चे अपने सवाल पूछते हैं तो उससे बच्चे बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं. सो उस तरीके की अपॉर्चुनिटीज हमें और ज्यादा क्रिएट करनी चाहिए अपने बच्चों के लिए. लेट्स टेक देम टू मोर एंड मोर visits outside campus where they can see real world scenarios. Let us take them and connect them with nature many times. Nature के through आप बहुत सारे habit of mind पे work कर सकते हो, especially in the science classes, EVS classes, I would say, right? Yeah, I think that was about it. In the chat box, I want you to respond some of your takeaways from today's session. One good idea that struck you, which you are going to implement. maybe what the Nagpur team shared, maybe what Anupama ma'am talked about, Pushpi ma'am talked about, or I talked about. Please put one idea that struck you today and you're going to look to implement that idea. Thank you so much to the entire team from Nagpur to putting up a fabulous presentation. And I'm really glad that you were able to connect the 4 hours. You were able to connect the habits of mind. You were also able to, some of you were able to connect the department goals into, your lessons. So well done on that. I would also like you to think of, while you connect these goals and the habits of mind and the department goals and the learning outcomes, how are you also assessing them within those 40-45 minutes in a way ki maybe you do one activity and that activity does many things for you at one go, right? So it's a layered sort of an activity. So definitely look to do that. Thank you so much, Nagpur team. Thank you. Ashwini, over to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, teachers, for joining in. I'm sharing a feedback form for today's session. It was really well presented by Nagpur team. Thank you so much, Pushpi ma'am, Anupama ma'am, and sir, for sharing your views with us. Teachers, do fill the feedback form before leaving today's session. Thank you so much for joining in.
Ashwini ma'am, do we also need to fill the feedback?
No. Presenters will not be filling the feedback form.
All right. Thank you, Ashwini ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwini ma'am.
Thank you, Neelam ma'am. Very well presented.
Thank you, Ashwini ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwini ma'am.